every right to be concerned about what changes might occur.
Joe Gutchie.
Question been output.
I'll hear from the Honourable Damien O'Connor.
Thank you very much, Mr Chairman. And again, sitting down here and reading through a bit more of this bill, I do scratch my head. And Part 4, as the Minister pointed out and tried to explain, related to enforcement and other matters. And I'm going through here looking at search warrants. And search warrants was a very emotive issue. When it was raised in a few years ago by farmers in proposals around originally carbon tax and then emissions trading, as I understand, around the ability of people to come in and search farms, I think, and the Minister and the Chair should maybe take a call and explain what the emotion was about. I think it was related to the principle of being able to come in and search a property, someone's private property, for things that were considered, related to legal matters, but maybe not of such import that you could bust into or get a warrant to bust into a person's home. And this is one such situation, dare I suggest, because it says here in subsection 2 that an issue of a warrant will be given even though the offence is not punishable by imprisonment. Many people in New Zealand would think that search warrants are justified if the potential offence is a serious one. That is, that the police have to bust into a property to get evidence for something like serious drug offending, for frauds, or for major crimes, murder, serious sexual offences, all of those things. But what are we talking about here? Road user charges. Road user charges. The Minister might explain why we should have a warrant, and quite a complex piece of drafting here relating to search warrants for offences relating to road user charges. And I have to say off the top of my head, reading through some of this complexity, it begs the question, well, why don't you just have a tax on diesel and be done with it? And then not have people trying to avoid it? Well, it does beg the question. I'm not sure whether it's been considered by the government. I think it was considered by us and we rejected it. But if you have to end up with a piece of legislation like this to make sure that you get your road user charges, highly complex, quite a burden on anyone driving a diesel vehicle, then it begs the question, is there a simpler process? And the members over there are feeling quite uneasy because they know that they preached on the hustings at the last election, they won't be able to this time, that they were going to slash government bureaucracy, they were going to slash cost of compliance for business, and they've done nothing. In fact, in the second to last day of Parliament of their first and last term, they have passed a piece of legislation here relating to just the payment of road user charges that quite frankly is going to bamboozle most people using diesel vehicles in this country. And it does beg the question that I go back to, is there a better, simpler way of doing this? And I mean, I go back to the part, Mr Chairman, that we're referring to here, and there's another question relating to if a warrant is carried out and a person knowingly discloses any information acquired during the inspection or the search. So if a farmer's wife is there when the police bust into the farmhouse to get some information because they think that the farmer might be getting up in the morning to drive his truck down the road, and indeed it might be just over the limit and they may not have road user charges, so he's knowingly gone out there and of course is going to offend, so they bust in, get a search warrant, and the wife then discloses some information, knowingly discloses it because she tells it, and is liable to a fine not exceeding $25,000. Now, there may be an explanation that the Minister and the Chair can get up and tell the House, but dare I suggest, this is so complex, it has so many provisions in it, that this compliance legislation will be a burden on every single business and individual throughout the country.
Louise Upston.
I move that the question be now put.
I'll hear from Stuart Nash.
Very much, Mr Chair. Mr O'Connor brings up